Hi, I'm Paul Mitchell, Managing Director of the Human Enterprise. I want to get deep and dirty with you today. I want to put your hand up to your mouth like this and just breathe a little. Welcome to the dark side. Today we're going to be talking about the leadership shadow. And if there's one thing you absolutely have to know for you to go to the next level, it's to know what your shadow is, what your dark side is, what your disown self is. What do I mean by that? Here you are as a leader. This is you day to day doing your stuff. And there are other parts of you that we call disowned or shadow or your dark side. They're not really evil or anything like that. That's just a bit of fun. But they are in the dark. They haven't been illuminated yet. They haven't come into the light yet. And for every part of you you've got, there's an equal and opposite part. For example, say you're this beautiful, loving person and you're totally comfortable with that, and that's really who you are. There could be a part of you that is really quite aggressive, but you're pushing this down. You're pushing this down. Or over here, you are so well organized, there's a place for everything and everything in its place. But there's another part of you that's just a mess. There's this slob just waiting and dying to bust out, to come out. And once again, what happens is when we're not comfortable with our dark side, with our shadow, with the parts of this that are disowned, our disowned selves, we push them down, we push them down, we push them down. And then they pop out with this demonic energy. So to avoid this happening, ever seen these religious people who are talking about purity and the importance of living a clean life, and then you find out they've been doing it with quite a few of the congregation? I'd suggest that's shadow. Or you hear, unfortunately, about these poor individuals, well, maybe that's the wrong word, but they were very quiet, they never spoke to anyone. And the next thing you know is they're going up and shooting up a shopping mall or something like that. Once again, shadow pushed down. So you're probably thinking, well, Paul, that's not me. I mean, that's far too extreme. I have no shadow. There's no parts of me that are in the dark. Gong! Thank you for playing. That's where I'd say you're wrong. Because for every part of this that we have, I'm putting to you, a Jungian perspective, that there is an equal and opposite part that you've disowned. So, the question is, well, how the hell do I get to that without years and years of therapy? Well, we're going to do it in a couple of minutes. Save you a lot of money, save you a lot of time. What you do is think the following. Every time you actually make a judgment of someone else, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Because what I'm putting to you is that every judgment of someone else which has some emotional content in it, not like it just informs you, but really inflames you. Geez, I hate it when they do that, really pisses me off. I get really annoyed with those sorts of people. Every time you're making that sort of judgment, I would put to you, it's a disowned self. It's part of your shadow or that part that's been pushed down. So there's 3 questions you can ask to get at that. I'll give you some examples. The first question is, say you see someone and they're a real show-off. I mean, they're a real poser, much the same as myself. And what you might think, I hate people like that. I hate those show-offs that are always bragging and so forth. You know what? It could be the fact that you do exactly that. In fact, ever been with someone, I'll say, oh, I hate those really quiet people. And you think, well, they're really quiet themselves. Often we don't see our own stuff. So one question you can ask is, do I have that quality within me and maybe just don't see it? Now, you're not going to see that yourself, but ask other people. Silly word, but that would be, is there a negative quality? If you get someone who is very, very controlling and you talk about, oh, they're just far too controlling, well, guess what? Maybe, just maybe, that's a quality that you have that you're not aware of. Second question is, do I need what they've got? Even though I'm judging it, do I need a little bit of that? Is it a positive quality that I could probably do with myself? What would that be? Say someone, once again, same person, say someone looks like they're showing off or promoting themselves, and you have not done too well in your career. You are nowhere near the level that you could be. Well, maybe you need a little bit of that. Not a massive dose, but imagine we boil that person down and we just put a couple of drops in an eyedropper or eardropper, and you put a couple of doses under your tongue, like a homeopathic dose of it. Maybe you would be a whole new person. I love that metaphor. It's from Hal and Sidra Stone. But this is, do I need what that person's got? Could I do with a bit of this? I get very, very upset with people who are incredibly organised and sort of, placed for everything and everything is placed. I even call them anal retentive. Guess what I need to be? A lot more organised. I need a couple of homeopathic drops of that part of me that's a little bit disowned. And finally, maybe, just maybe, it's to do with your personal history. I was once coaching someone who didn't just get upset when people were late for meetings, didn't get just upset when people didn't get papers or make commitments in time, went off her brain. When we started to explore her personal history, the sadness was that her father, particularly her father, had constantly let her down. Told her he would be somewhere and he wasn't. Told her he'd be at a concert and he wasn't. Told her he'd be at a hockey match and he wasn't. Told her he'd be there on a particular night when she was getting some awards and he wasn't. It was a deep hurt for her. And so what then happened was, every time someone else let her down, and actually, by the way, it was particularly males, it wasn't that particular event, it was all the emotion she was carrying about being let down. And Mitchell's law is that when the amount of reaction or emotion is disproportionate to the event, it's never the event. It's some personal history. So there we have it, leadership shadow. Pretty scary, but pretty exciting. So the next time you're making a judgment of someone, you just ask yourself, wow, what part of me here am I disowning? And the three questions are almost like a cadence. Hey, is it something in me I don't see and I'm seeing it in others? Is it a quality I need to be a better leader, or has it got something to do with my personal history? You get that sort of an awareness, and you know what? Your judgments won't fade. That would be ridiculous. We'll always make judgments. But the emotional energy around them will start to settle down, and you'll have a lot more energy to get on with the wonderful life that you're going to have, that you need to have, that you will have. I'm Paul Mitchell, Managing Director of the Human Enterprise. Be true to you.